back to my channel. So if you haven't been here before, I'm Karyn, and what I thought I would do today was tell you about my light daily makeup routine. I've always been into wearing makeup since I was probably 13 years old. I always made time to get myself ready, and I'm glad that I have, and I've gotten pretty good at it. I can make it a pretty quick little project, and so I just wanted to show you what I like to do so that I have time every day to do the makeup. It only takes me probably 15 minutes at the most. And you know, my makeup changes with regard to color, with my lip color, my blush color, and my eyeshadow color, depending on the day and what I'm wearing and what my mood is and that sort of thing. But my actual, getting ready routine is pretty quick and easy. So I'm not the kind of person that would, go to work without putting on makeup, or, go out, to meet my friends without putting on makeup. It's like, I like to leave my house looking great. It always kills me when you see those stars, like you see pictures of the stars and, they're out and they look like they just rolled out of bed. And you're like, oh my God. I mean, first of all, I'm not a star and I wouldn't walk out of my house looking like that. But then, there's somebody who's somebody, and sure enough, some paparazzi caught a picture of them and look at them. They just look scary. So that's not something I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna show you what I do, which is really quick, really easy. Being in my 50s, I feel like I have a good kind of happy medium as to how much makeup I put on, and I'm trying to keep it as natural as possible, but I also want my face to pop. So I'll show you what I do. So I'll meet you in the bathroom. So I've already prepped my skin for my makeup. The last video that I did was about prepping your skin for your makeup and the importance of it. So if you didn't see that video, you might want to go back and watch that one. But it's pretty much all about retaining the moisture throughout the day and helping fight free radicals by using antioxidants, and doing whatever you can to help build collagen. So using certain products will help you with that. So if you want to refer back to that video, you probably should. All three things are so important because you go so long throughout the course of the day without rehydrating your skin. And if your skin isn't hydrated, then your makeup's not going to look as good for as long. So there's nothing worse than dry skin with makeup on top of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with my primer, and the primer that I'm using today is from Juice Beauty. I really like this one because it's a little bit cleaner than most of the primers. It's organic, and it's just one of the cleaner ones, which I'm looking for with pretty much everything, not only my makeup but also food and products that I put on my face and my body. So I'm going to do a couple pumps of this, and I actually use this for my lids as well. I don't use a separate lid primer, and I am going to put a little bit of eyeshadow on today. So what I do is I just take this and put it all over my lids, and it soaks in really nicely. It doesn't take long to set up at all. And I don't put it on my neck. I just kind of drag it under my chin, and that's it. But like I said, it sets up really nicely. It dries really quickly. And so then I'm going to go to my sunblock. So what I do is today I'm going to use this Ulta MD. It's the Tinted Sunblock, and it's got an SPF of 44. This is really great. It's super nice. It makes your skin look a little bit dewy but not oily, but it's a little bit too light for me. And so I need to kind of pump up the color just a little bit. But I typically, when I use other sunblock, I have another one that I like too from Impress. And I always use just a little bit of foundation in it, just to get a tiny bit more coverage, because I don't like a ton of coverage, but this is pretty sheer. So what I'm going to mix with this is the True Match, and it's N3, and it's got a 17 SPF. It's a broad spectrum, so anything that you add to this, you definitely want to make sure that it has some sunblock in it as well. So I'm going to mix these two up, and then I'll put them all over my skin. So I take a couple pumps of this, and then what I do is I take just a little bit of this. So I do about 2/3 of the the sunblock, the Ulta MD, and then I do like 1/3 of the actual base makeup. And I put this on with my hands because I just don't think it goes on that well with a beauty blender, and but I do use a brush after, so you'll see. So I rub this all over my skin, and I kind of have to do it into the camera, sorry, because I can't really hold a mirror, and the mirror is not directly behind the camera. And I only do the mixture of the two on my face. I don't do it on my neck and my chest. I do just the sunblock, the Ulta MD by itself, on my neck and my chest. I try to get it right up under my eyes, into the inside corner of my eyes, right in here, and then right out here. I like to kind of frame my eyes with it, because I get kind of a little bit red on the outside corners. So once I rub it all in, then I take a flat brush and I kind of just pat it in all over. So it kind of makes it look nice and smooth. Like I said, a beauty blender for this doesn't work that well for me. And I guess the difference of what I do and what I see other people doing is that I don't put my sunblock on first and then put a makeup on over it. I just mix the two together, and I think it looks more natural for my skin. I don't really like a lot of visible base makeup on my skin. I mean, I want it to look smoother and more uniform in color, but I can't wear too many layers because I've already prepped my skin with moisturizers and things like that. So you know, your skin can only handle so much, I think, and that's about the max for mine. So I do that, and then I take the Ulta MD again, and I use a little bit more, and I put it onto my neck and my chest. So if you are younger and you're not wearing sunblock, you really should. I mean, if you can do whatever you can to protect your skin, because I mean, I live in Arizona, I'm in Scottsdale, and the sun is so hot here. I mean, you walk to your car and you can just feel it beating on your skin. So, I mean, and really, even if you can't feel it, you're still getting the burning and the aging rays, UVA or UVB and UVA. So, if you can, whatever you can do to wear a sunblock, you definitely should. While my makeup is setting up, which takes about 10 minutes, what I like to do is just put some eyeshadow on. And so during the day, I do like to wear eyeshadow, but I don't wear as much as I do at night, obviously. And I think that's pretty much true for everyone. So what I'm gonna do is start out with this MAC color. It's just a really light, pretty color, and it's called Goldbit. And so I'm just gonna put a little bit on my lids and on the inside of my eyes. And I'm just using this little Sigma brush. I think it's E30. And some of my brushes don't have any information on them, unfortunately. So some of them that I'm going to use today, I can't tell you what they are because I've had them for a while and they've held up really well, and I just wash them and keep using them. So I do that on both sides, and I like this little brush just because it's really precise and you can get it into the inside corner of your eye. Sorry, I just did that right in front of the camera. Sorry about that. It's hard to keep it to the side because I can't look in the mirror, so I have to try to do the best I possibly can, and I'm sort of a little bit newer at this, so bear with me. I'm sure I'll get better as time goes on, just like with everything. This is only my 7th video, so I'm getting better at it, slowly but surely. But anyway, so I do that, and then I take, like today, I'm gonna take another matte color, which I've had for a really long time. It's called Foley, and it's such a pretty color. It's, it's kind of like, it sounds stupid, but it's kind of like a mauve color, but it really looks nice on. So I'm gonna put that on, if I can find the brush that I wanna use. So the brush that I'm gonna use for this, like I said, it doesn't have a name or a number, but it's just a little round brush, and it's great. I mean, the makeup goes on really nicely, and my lids are getting really heavy now. I mean, I'm no spring chicken, and once you get into your 50s, I've never had my eyes done. and I've never had a facelift or anything. And so when you get, you know, older, your lid skin gets really loose, so it's hard to put eyeshadow on. So what I do is I try to kind of lift my eyebrows a little bit, and I just go right into that crease and do like a little bit in the corners. And it's really quick with this brush. I like it because it makes it easy to kind of shape it quickly. And then I just take another brush, which is Orgazy brush, and I just smooth it out a little bit. So it's really quick. I mean, for daytime, I don't want to spend a ton of time, you know, doing eyeshadow and, you know, having, you know, rainbow eyes. I mean, I think we have to bring natural back. I think that I just blew on my brush. Can you believe I just did that? That's like #1 thing you're not supposed to do is blow on your brush, because oh, there goes the mirror again. Sorry about that. So I'm gonna do this on both sides, obviously. And yeah, I really have to lift my eyebrows up because otherwise it just gets all these little skips. It's like skip, 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 skip. But this is a really nice color. It looks really good in combination with a lighter color. And then I take this brush and just sort of blend it. So I do have permanent makeup on my eyes. I have eyeliner that I've had for a long time. I've been doing permanent makeup for quite a while, for about 25 years. And it's one of those things where I've had it for a long time, and once you've had it for a while, you kind of don't see it anymore. So I either need to get it touched up, or I'll put something over it so that I feel like my eyes pop a little bit more. So that's what I'm gonna do today, is I'm gonna put a little bit over it. So the pencil that I'm gonna use is from, let's see here, Essence. I have to say, Essence has some of the greatest products. Essence is such a great company. I mean, everything is so inexpensive. The price points are awesome. And I got this, this brown pencil. It's called Hot Chocolate, and it's a long-lasting pencil. And it stays where you put it. It does not move or smudge or anything. So it's really awesome, and it's super smooth. So when you go to put it on, it goes on really, really nicely. So it doesn't take very long at all to put it on. So I just try to go right over the eyeliner that I already have as I'm putting my mirror in your face, sorry. And I mean, it's that quick. And I just take my fingernail to kind of taper it a little bit on the outside. And then on this side, let's see if I can do it over here. Same thing, I just kind of drag it across, and it covers up what I have already pretty well. I just take my fingernail and kind of make the outside a little bit more tapered. So it's super quick and easy, and like I said, it stays right where you put it, which is awesome. Then I don't really put anything on my eyebrows. I have really full eyebrows, like I said in the intro. So at night, if I'm going to, if I feel like, my eyes are really big because I put a bunch of eyeshadow on and, a bunch of eyeliner and everything, then what I would use is the Mahogany from Bobbi Brown. It's such a great color. It goes with my eyebrows are really dark and they're really dense. So I can't really do too much because then I have these, huge, dense, dark eyebrows across my head, which I think is a little bit too much for my face. I like them to be a little bit softer. So, but if I do, I just use it with an angled brush, dry, a dry brush, and just kind of powder in a little bit because my tails are getting a little bit thinner, and sometimes I'll pump up the front of my eyebrows. But for the most part, on a daily basis, I really don't do much to my eyebrows. But then I find that my eyelashes are really sensitive. So if I get too much product in my eyelashes from putting eyeshadow on or eyeliner, then they kind of get weird and they clump together. So what I do, because I don't use an eyelash curler because I feel like I've pulled lashes out. I used to use it when I was younger, but I haven't used it in a long time. But if I take my little spoolie and I spin my spoolie at the same time as I'm brushing upward, it gives you like a little bit of a curling effect. So try that because I really think it works. So you just kind of spin it. And some people can do that with their mascara, and unfortunately, I can't do it with my mascara. For some reason, I'm not that talented. So, but in a lot of the mascaras that I have, the wand, you know, is a little curved, so it's hard to spin it. It has to be completely straight wand. So then I'm gonna go to priming my lashes. The primer that I use is from Lancome. I also use it at night. So every night before I go to bed, I put on some Care Prost, which is like Latisse or Revive Lash. And all of those work really well to help your natural lashes grow longer. And then I put on this Cils booster from Lancome. And what I like about this is at night, when I put it on, it helps condition my lashes so my lashes grow pretty much consistently. And then when I prime my lashes with this, what I do is I use the one that I've used to use at night, and then I use that one, the older one, in the morning, because I don't want so much primer on my lashes. And then the newer one I use at night. So I just take this and use it like a mascara. So pretending I'm putting mascara on. And it really does help your lashes look thicker. I don't know what it is. It's different than just putting like 2 or 3 coats of mascara on. So if you put a coat of this on first, and then you put your mascara over it, it really does help. So when I'm putting this on, after I put it on, I don't let it dry. Some people let their primers dry, but then I feel like my lashes aren't as pliable if it's dry. So I just quickly go straight to my mascara. So same thing, I have a newer one and an older one. So what I do is I start out with the newer one, and I go, over my bottom lashes first, so there's not too much mascara on it. And then I start to do the upper eyelashes. And since my eyelashes are not dry, from the primer, they're still pliable enough to be able to take the mascara and separate so it doesn't get, because otherwise for me it gets really clumpy. So I have to kind of be really quick with what I do. But the mascara that I'm using, I really like. It's called Clump Crusher by Maybelline. And I'll show you the tube right when I'm finished with this. And so what I do is I use the newer one. I'll link everything down at the bottom so you'll know what I used, and you can just take a look. And then I use the one that's a little bit older and a little bit drier, not dried up, but drier. And so then I go over my lashes again, and it seems to separate them even more, so they're like a little bit more wispy looking. So this is just what I do. You don't want to keep your mascaras for too long because they can build up some bacteria, but you definitely want to, I like to use two, sometimes I'll use a different mascara too. If I have a different one, I will kind of top them off with that. But I definitely put a couple coats of mascara on because I think it holds my lashes a little bit better. And what I like about these, I keep them in separate places so I know which one's the old one and which one's the new one. Do I know anymore? No, I do. But the other mascaras that I will use, it seems like they always, get kind of flaky under my eyes, or they'll smudge above my eyes, and I hate that. This is the only mascara I can find that doesn't do that. So try it out. It's only, I think it's less than maybe $10 or less than $10. So it's super affordable and it's great. So then what I do after that is I move on to my powder. So you can tell this is going pretty quickly. It's probably only gonna take me 15 or 20 minutes. I think that's taking me longer because I'm talking. But so, okay, I'll tell you what I'm using. So I'm using Makeup Forever. It's the Ultra HD, it's just the translucent powder. And it's really nice because all it does is give you just this nice, smooth coating. It takes away, any oily look to your face. but it also blurs. So it blurs fine lines and it blurs your pores, but it's not super heavy. And that's what I like. I don't like to have the look of heavy makeup on my skin. I want my skin to look like skin. And I don't want to get makeup on someone's shirt if I hug them, or, you know, so I want it to be as light and natural as possible, but give me enough coverage so that my skin looks really smooth and pretty. So what I do is I put this on before I put my contour and my blush on. So I do that, and I'll drag a little bit down onto my neck, but not too much. And so then I go to my contour. So the palette that I'm using is from MAC. I've had it for a little while as well, and that's the good thing about these palettes is they last forever. So this one is medium, all the right angles contour palette. But it doesn't even say MAC on it. It's kind of funny. But anyway, I really like it, and so what I do is this is just an Eco Tool brush, and I take a flat brush, and I like to go right underneath the bone, my cheekbone over here, and just kind of really deliberately put it in. I don't like it to be too thick, so then it just sort of gives you a cheekbone. So I don't use a big brush because I feel like it makes the line a little bit too thick for me. And so I bring it right down to about there. So if you were to take the corner of your eye and go out with your brush, it would stop right about here. So that's about what you want to do. So it will give you just a little bit of dimension to your face. And then, you know, I've got, you know, a good sized forehead, so I do a little bit on my forehead. And then I also like to do underneath my jawline. And then right in the center. And then I just take a little bit of it and go on either side of my nose. I don't have to do a lot of nose contouring because I've got a kind of a small little nose, so I don't do a lot with that. But so that's what I do for the contouring, and then I'll go to my blush. So this brush is, let's see here, it's cut from Real Techniques. I have no recollection of how I acquired this brush, but I do like it, and this is what I'm using. So then the blush that I'm using is from Ulta, and it's mineral blush, and it's called Tiger Lily. And I really like this. It kind of has a little bit of an iridescence to it. So even though I'm not putting on highlighter, this kind of has a tiny bit of little bit of highlighter in it, so it makes it seem like I have a little bit of highlighter. So I gotta grab my mirror or I'm not gonna do this right. It's hard to do it right into the camera. So then I just put it right up on the top of my cheekbone. And I kind of go in circular motions. And putting the pressed powder or the translucent powder on first, I think makes blush go on so much easier. It goes on a lot smoother, and so try that out too if you can, is put your translucent powder on top of your sunblock or your makeup, and then put your blush and your contour and your blush on. Then I do a little bit on my forehead, a little bit on my chin, upper lip, a little bit down the center of my nose, and underneath my chin. And you can do a little bit on your neck, just so you make sure that your neck and your face, you know, are about the same color. Then I go back to the brush that I used for the translucent powder, and I'm not gonna put any more on it. All I'm gonna do is lightly dust over my face just to kind of smooth everything out and blend it. Especially in here, so there's no hard lines. Yeah, I can sort of see the iridescence in this blush, which is nice, so I don't have to put any highlighter on. So that's always cool. So then lastly, we're gonna do my lips. Before I apply any lip liner, lipstick or lip gloss, I do put a little bit of lip balm on so my lips don't get dry. And I really feel like my lips never really are peeling. A lot of people say, how come your lips don't peel? And I think it's because I do apply a little bit of lip balm before I put anything else on. So this one is from Simple Truth. It's an organic lip balm, which I think I've showed you before. And it's just really nice. I mean, I only put it in the center though. I put it in the center of my lips. And then I don't put it up on the liner part because of course I don't want my lip liner to move. So the lip liner that I'm using today is from MAC, yet another MAC product. And this one's called Whirl. And I really like this color just because it's really kind of natural and pretty. And so what I do is I do like to line my lips to the highest point of my lip that I can. So you have what's called a vermilion edge on your lips where your lip and your skin come together. And sometimes I see people when they come into me, you know, I do permanent makeup and electrolysis, and they lay down on my table and I can see they've underlined their lips. And their lips could look so much better if they just put it in the right spot. So I know that my lips aren't completely even. I have one side that's a little higher than the other, but if I, you know, do what I can to try to get it on the highest point, then it just makes my lips look so much better. So that's what I'm gonna do. I start out with my Cupid's bow. So with my lips, I have kind of a natural ridge on the bottom, so it's pretty quick and easy for me to line my lips. It's mostly just the top where, you know, I think my lips are a little bit uneven. But then what I do is I take this liner and I do a second line on the inside. Then it makes it a thicker line, and then I smudge it and drag it a little bit so it doesn't look like a hard line. So that's what I do for my lip liner. And then the two lip balms that I'm going to use today, I'm not going to use a lipstick. I'm going to use, well, they're not lip balms, they're lip glosses, are from Buxom. So this one is called Dolly, and then this one is Celeste. So I'm going to use both of them today, but actually both of them are really pretty on their own. So sometimes I just wear the Celeste with nothing else, no lip liner, no nothing, and it's really pretty. It just has this really pretty sparkly, you know, look to it, but it's got a little bit of color, but not too much. So I really like it a lot. So it's really pretty. So I'm gonna just put a little bit of the Dolly on, and this stays on pretty well all day. Especially if you drag your lip liner in a little bit thicker, it seems to make your lip gloss stay on for longer. And then I'm just gonna put the Celeste on and pretty much kind of do it right in the center, just to give it a little bit of a sparkly pop. And just lightly dab together. And I noticed with these lip glosses, the sparkly ones, if you're wearing them and you feel like you've lost the sparkle, all you need to do is kind of go like that again and it reignites the sparkle, so it's pretty cool. So that is my routine. I hope you got something out of it. I think there's a couple things that you should try. Maybe is try your spoolie and twist your spoolie before you put your mascara on, and always make sure you brush up your lashes before you put any mascara on or any primer on your lashes, because I really think that it preps your lashes and then it makes your lashes like, you know, I think my lashes look pretty good. Truthfully, I actually think I look better, you know, in the mirror, like in person, than I do on the camera, because maybe my lighting isn't great. You know, I'm doing my best, trying to do, you know, good lighting and, you know, be a good camera person and, you know, all that sort of thing. So it's kind of hard, but, you know, hopefully, like when I look in the mirror, I actually think I look better in the mirror than I do, you know, in the camera. So that's just my personal opinion. I don't know if that's okay to say or not, but then, you know, try two different mascaras too. If you can use the new one first, and then the one that, you know, is kind of getting a little bit more dried up. It's not completely dried up, but try to prep your lashes after, you know, the first application. you know, do the second one with the drier one, and I just think it seems to separate your lashes and makes them look a lot better. And then the last thing I would say is, you know, try the translucent powder before you put any blush or contour on, because it makes your skin so much smoother and it just goes on really nicely. So hopefully you like this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment box. I'm really happy to get back to you. It makes me feel really good when people want to communicate with me. And if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye. So before I put any